The sky above the desert planet was alive with fire and wings. Dragons, enormous and fierce, ruled every corner of the air. Their scales shone like polished metal, reflecting the red light of the twin suns. The ground below shook with every beat of their wings, and even the strongest human buildings trembled under their shadow. Humanity had learned long ago to stay low, to hide, and to pray that the dragons would not notice them. On the edge of a small human colony, a young dragon with deep blue scales circled high above. Its eyes, bright and golden, scanned the dusty settlement for any sign of life. It was called Karath, and it was one of the fiercest hunters in the sky. Wherever Karath flew, humans fled. No weapon they had could touch him, and no trap could hold him. In the colony, people moved quickly. They carried water, food, and tools, but all of it felt meaningless under the dragon's gaze. Children huddled close to their parents, and the elders whispered stories of dragons that could crush mountains and swallow rivers. Every human knew the rule: never look up too long, never anger a dragon, and always obey the sky above. Karath dove suddenly, the wind screaming past him. The humans scattered like sand in a storm. He landed on the edge of the colony, claws gripping the rock with a force that made the ground crack. Steam rose from his nostrils, and his tail swept across the empty streets. The humans watched in fear, frozen by the power before them. Even the bravest soldiers lowered their heads. Karath was not here to play. He was here to remind them who ruled. Among the humans there was a boy named Jalen. He was small, with dark hair and quick eyes, and he often wondered why humans were so afraid. Today, as Karath roared, Jalen crouched behind a stack of metal crates. He could feel the heat from the dragon's body, even from a distance. Something inside him stirred, not fear but curiosity. He had heard stories of dragons crushing entire towns, but he had never seen one up close. His heart raced as he watched Karatha's wings spread wide, shadowing the colony in darkness. Karatha's roar echoed across the valley, a sound so deep it felt like it shook bones. The humans bowed, hiding their faces. Their prayers filled the air, though no one knew if the dragons even listened. To the humans, Karath was not just a predator, he was a god. And gods were not to be challenged. The dragon turned slowly, wings folding back as he walked through the settlement. Each step left a crater in the sand. Shops and homes were flattened under his weight. Windows shattered, metal roofs bent, and the people could only run. No one dared fight. No one dared resist. Karatha's golden eyes caught movement near a water tank. A small group of humans tried to carry food to the hidden shelters, but he swooped down, blocking their path. His shadow fell on them like a mountain. The humans froze, knowing escape was impossible. One man dropped his basket of supplies, and Karatha's claw crushed it instantly. The sound was loud, echoing like thunder. But then something curious happened. A small child, no more than 6, stepped forward. His hands were empty, and he looked up at the dragon without fear. Karath tilted his head, intrigued. He had never seen a human move without trembling, never seen eyes that did not beg for mercy. The child's courage was strange, almost amusing. For the first time, Karath hesitated. The dragon let out a low rumble, a sound between a growl and a laugh. He sniffed the air, wings flaring. The humans behind the child gasped, ready to push him out of the way, but the boy did not move. Karatha's golden eyes studied him, and a strange thought passed through his mind, a thought he did not understand. This human was not like the others. This human was different. Still, Karatha's power was absolute. With a flick of his tail, he sent a wave of sand across the settlement, warning the humans to stay in place. He was amused by the child, but he was still a dragon of the skies. His strength was unmatched, his rule unbroken. The humans could only watch and obey as they always had. As the suns began to set, painting the sky in fire red and orange, Karath lifted off the ground. His wings beat the air, sending a gust that knocked over carts and tents. He soared into the sky, circling the settlement one last time. From above, he looked down at the tiny humans below, creatures so fragile yet so alive. The boy watched him go, a spark of something new in his eyes, wonder, maybe, or defiance. He did not know it yet, but Karatha's reign would not last forever. Something in humanity stirred, hidden deep in their minds and hearts, waiting for the right moment to rise. The dragons ruled the skies now, but the future was still unwritten, and the fire of humans burned quietly, ready to flare. The colony lay in silence, the shadows of dragons stretching long across the sand. Fear was still strong, but for some, curiosity had taken root. And somewhere high above, Karath flew, golden eyes searching, unaware that the first seeds of change had already begun. While the dragons ruled the skies, humans worked quietly, hidden from their gaze. Deep in the asteroid belt, far from the dragons' patrols, a human settlement floated in darkness, its metal walls glowing faintly with energy. Inside, people moved with purpose, not fear. They were scientists, engineers, and pilots, humans who refused to bow to the dragons. At the center of the settlement, a large room buzzed with machines and computers. Screens flickered with blueprints, maps, and star charts. Wires snaked across the floor, and the air smelled of metal and oil. Humans worked in teams, testing energy shields and building small flying ships. Each invention was small, but together they were a sign of hope. Lena, a young engineer with sharp eyes and quick hands, adjusted a panel on a hovership. Sparks flew and a small alarm beeped. She smiled, wiping sweat from her brow. "It's ready," she said. Her voice was calm, confident, even though outside, dragons ruled everything. Around her, other humans nodded, checking weapons, shields, and engines. The human leader, Commander Rao, stepped forward. He was tall and serious, with gray hair and eyes that had seen many battles. "Every step counts," he said. "The dragons are strong, but strength alone is not enough. We will use our minds. We will use our speed. We will use their weakness, our intelligence." The humans had studied the dragons for years. They observed their movements, learned their hunting patterns, and discovered something surprising. Dragons were brilliant, but they could be predictable. They relied on power and fear, thinking no human could ever challenge them. That was the mistake humans were ready to exploit. A small group of pilots gathered around a holographic map. Red markers showed dragon patrols over nearby planets, while green markers indicated human bases and safe zones. "We can't attack directly," one pilot said, voice shaking slightly. "They'll crush us." Rao nodded. "No, we attack smart. Hit fast, vanish, and strike where they least expect it. The dragons think they own the sky. We will show them we can fight differently." Far away in another lab, Lena connected a glowing crystal to a strange device. The crystal pulsed with energy, casting shadows across the walls. "This will help us track them," she explained. "Not just their location but their energy patterns. We'll know when they are tired, when they hunt, when they rest. We'll use it to our advantage." A young boy named Jalen, the same child who had faced Karath, watched the humans work. He had grown braver since that day, learning from Lena and the others. He loved machines and loved solving problems. "Will we ever fight them?" he asked, his voice quiet. Raoul knelt to his level. "Yes, one day. But first we learn. We prepare. We find a way to protect ourselves without foolishly running into danger. Strength comes in many forms, Jalen. Not just muscles, not just claws and fire. You'll see." Hours passed as the humans worked tirelessly. Hoverships were tested in simulated skies, energy shields flickered under artificial dragon attacks, and weapons hummed with new power. Every test, every failure, every small success was a step closer to survival. At night, when the twin suns dipped below the horizon, the settlement grew quiet. Lena and Jalen stepped outside, looking up at the stars. The sky was empty, no dragons tonight. But the humans did not fear the dark. Instead, they felt the spark of hope. One day they would not just hide. One day they would show the dragons that humans could be strong in ways the dragons could not imagine. "Do you think Karath will ever come here?" Jalen asked, pointing to the stars. "Maybe," Lena replied. "But when he does, we'll be ready. Not with brute force but with our minds. That is our true power." Far above, dragons soared through space, unaware of the quiet rebellion below. They thought humans were small, weak, and insignificant. They had no idea that humans were learning, thinking, and preparing. Each small invention, each clever plan was a hidden spark. And sparks, when they grow, can ignite fires. The next day the humans ran another test. Small drones flew in formation, dodging obstacles, mimicking dragon movements. They used energy pulses to simulate attacks, and for the first time the humans celebrated a perfect run. It was small, almost invisible to the outside world, but it was a victory. They were learning to fight like dragons but not as dragons. Rao gathered everyone in the main hall. "Remember," he said, voice firm, "we do not fight for revenge. We fight to survive. And when the time comes, we will teach the dragons that strength alone does not win wars. Mind, courage, and unity win wars. The sky belongs to everyone, not just them." Lena looked around at her team, at the boy who had once faced fear and now faced the future, and smiled. The spark was alive in them all. The dragons ruled the skies, yes. But humanity was no longer just hiding. Humanity was learning. Humanity was growing. Somewhere far above, Karath circled a distant planet, unaware that below humans plotted quietly, inventing, thinking, and preparing. One day he would look down and see something he had never imagined. Humans not running, not begging, but standing, clever and brave, ready to challenge the dragons in ways they could never predict. The hidden spark of humanity glowed quietly in the darkness. It was small now, fragile even, but it would grow. One day the sky would not belong only to dragons. One day humanity would rise. The sun had barely risen when the alarms went off. A dragon fleet was approaching. From high above, the humans could see their shadows stretching across the desert. Their wings blocked the light, and their roars shook the air. This was no test. This was real. Commander Rao ran through the control room shouting orders. Everyone to your stations. Remember what we practiced. Stay calm, stay focused. Jalen's heart raced as he climbed into a small hovership. Lena was already in her pilot seat nearby, adjusting the energy shields. This is it, she said, eyes sharp. They are fast. But we have something they don't, brains. Outside, the dragons circled, their golden eyes scanning for movement. Karath led the pack, massive wings slicing through the sky. Behind him, dozens of smaller dragons followed, all eager to crush the humans who dared to hide. They thought it would be easy. Ral activated the first layer of defense. Energy shields rose from the ground, shimmering like invisible walls. The dragons roared in surprise as their claws and tails struck nothing but glowing barriers. Sparks flew when fire hit the shields, and the humans cheered quietly. It worked. Karath tilted his head, confused. Dragons were used to humans running, hiding, and begging. They had never faced resistance not like this. He circled again, claws ready, fire coiling in his throat. The humans had prepared more than shields. Small drones zipped through the air, emitting bright lights and confusing signals. Some created illusions of human positions, tricking the dragons into attacking empty air. Others released bursts of energy that made the dragons hesitate. Every movement was planned, every attack measured. Lena's hovership zipped past a dragon diving at her. She fired a pulse that hit the dragon's wing, not to hurt it, but to stun it momentarily. The dragon screeched in surprise, lifting higher than before. She smiled. It's working. They aren't used to this. Jalen piloted a small ship close to the ground, darting between the shadows of the energy shields. He could feel the wind from the dragon's wings as they swooped down. He fired a tether, a sticky energy net that wrapped around a dragon's leg. The dragon thrashed, but the humans had built the net to hold it just long enough to escape. Karath roared, frustration building in his chest. Humans were clever. They were unpredictable. They used traps, machines, and tactics that no dragon had imagined. His pack was skilled, but even they struggled against these sudden attacks. They were learning quickly that strength alone was not enough. Ral watched from the command center, giving orders as the battle unfolded. Push them back. Keep them confused. Watch for patterns. The humans worked together like a single organism, moving, attacking, defending, and retreating in perfect harmony. The dragons could not understand it. They could crush buildings, burn forests, but humans? Humans were clever. One dragon broke through a shield and swooped toward the human command center. Jalen spotted it and quickly activated a trap. A sudden burst of energy shot into the sky, blinding the dragon for a moment. It collided with a net of energy and tumbled, wings thrashing. Lena's hovership zipped past, firing another pulse to guide it away from the humans. The dragon screamed, not in pain but in confusion. Hours passed and the sky filled with chaos. Fire clashed with energy, claws met shields, and the humans continued to fight back. They were smaller, yes, but they were faster and smarter. Every time a dragon attacked, humans had a counter ready. Every time they thought the humans would run, the humans surprised them. Finally, as the suns began to set, the dragons started to retreat. Their wings were tired, their plans disrupted. Karath rose high into the sky, circling once, golden eyes burning with a new understanding. Humans were not weak. Humans were dangerous, not because of fire or claws but because of their minds. On the ground, the humans cheered, though quietly. They had survived. They had shown that cleverness and preparation could stand against brute strength. Jalen and Lena landed their ships, faces flushed with excitement. We did it, Jalen said. We actually did it. Ral looked at them, a small smile on his serious face. This is only the beginning, he said. Today we fought to survive. Tomorrow we fight to take back our place. The dragons may rule the skies now, but they are starting to understand something important. Humans are not helpless. Above, Karath watched the settlement disappear into the distance. The dragons had lost their easy victory, and for the first time, they feared what humans might do next. Intelligence, teamwork, and courage, things dragons had underestimated, were the weapons that humans wielded. In the shadows of the desert, Jalen looked up at the sky, still glowing with the last light of the suns. "We can do this," he said softly. Lena nodded, gripping the controls of her ship. Somewhere deep in her chest, a spark of hope grew. The dragons had attacked, but they had learned something new today. They were not invincible. They were not the rulers of everything. And somewhere humans smiled quietly, knowing that the fight for the skies had only just begun. The first clash was over, but the battle was far from finished. The hidden spark of humanity had shown its first light, and it was brighter than any dragon flame. The human fleet moved quietly through the asteroid belt, hiding from dragon patrols. The ships were small, fast, and built for stealth. Inside, the humans checked their equipment again and again. Every shield, every weapon, every engine had to work perfectly. There was no room for mistakes. Commander Rao stood on the bridge of the lead ship, looking at the holographic map of the dragon's homeworld. "This is it," he said. "We go in smart, fast, and precise. We do not fight them head-on. We strike where they will not expect us. Every move counts." Lena adjusted the energy field around her ship. The dragons have ruled their homeworld for thousands of years. Their defenses will be strong. She looked at Jalen, who was checking the targeting system. "But we have something they do not." Surprise. The dragon's homeworld was massive, with mountains that glowed with molten rivers and forests so tall they touched the clouds. Dragons flew above every city, patrolling constantly. Karath led the sky guards, sharp eyes scanning for intruders. Humans were bold, or foolish, to come here. The fleet moved like shadows. They avoided patrols, slipped between asteroids, and used the gravity of nearby moons to mask their approach. Inside the command ship, tension was high. Every beep, every light, every vibration could mean a dragon had spotted them. As the fleet reached the outer atmosphere, Karath saw something unusual, a small group of ships moving in ways no human ships should. He roared, calling the others. "They are here. Intercept them." The humans had expected this. They split into groups, flying through narrow canyons and over cliffs. Energy nets and decoy drones created confusion. The dragons struck, but their claws met nothing but shadows. They could not predict human tactics. One dragon dove toward Lena's ship. She twisted sharply, firing a pulse that hit the dragon's wing. It screeched and spun away. Jalen fired a tether to slow another dragon, holding it just long enough for their ships to pass. Every move was calculated. Every step was part of the plan. In the heart of the dragon city, massive towers of stone and crystal rose like mountains. Energy fields glowed around them, ready to strike. But the humans had studied these defenses for months. Using cloaked ships, they bypassed the outer walls and struck key energy nodes, shutting down the shields that protected the city. Karath felt anger rise in him. No human had ever come so close to his home, let alone struck at it. "They are clever, too clever," he muttered, circling above. His golden eyes scanned the city, looking for the humans, but they were already gone, vanishing into the shadows after each strike. The humans moved quickly. They released small bombs that did not destroy buildings but disabled energy systems. They sabotaged communication towers and disrupted patrol patterns. Dragons were strong, yes, but they were not smart enough to stop humans who planned every step ahead. Rao watched from the bridge of the lead ship, voice calm but firm. "This is not destruction. This is learning. We show them humans are not easy prey. We show them strategy matters more than brute strength." Hours passed. Dragons tried to chase the humans, but every attack failed. They struck at empty space, stumbled into traps, and became frustrated. Karath realized that humans were not just clever, they were unpredictable. They did not follow rules, they did not panic, and they never gave up. Finally, the humans pulled back, retreating into the asteroid belt. They left the dragon's homeworld intact, but the lesson was clear. Dragons who once feared nothing now feared humans. Their sense of superiority had been shaken. Karath circled above, roaring in frustration, but inside he felt something new, caution. The fleet gathered in a hidden base on a nearby moon. Humans cheered quietly, but Rao raised his hand. "We have won nothing yet," he said. "But today we proved something important. The dragons are not invincible. They are strong, yes, but humans are smarter, faster, and braver than they think." Lena looked at Jalen, his eyes shining with excitement. "Did you see their faces?" she asked. Even Karath looked surprised. Jalen nodded. "They thought we were weak. They thought they could crush us. But we made them think twice. Above the homeworld, Karath gathered the surviving dragons. He spoke to them in low, rumbling tones. Humans are different. They are not just prey. They are dangerous. We must respect them. We must watch them. For the first time he admitted what no dragon had ever said aloud. Humans could not be ignored. Back on the moon, the humans celebrated quietly. They had not conquered the dragons, but they had done something just as powerful. They had shown that cleverness, courage, and teamwork could challenge even the mightiest creatures in the galaxy. The hidden spark of humanity was no longer small. It had grown into a flame, bright and unstoppable. The dragons ruled the skies, yes, but now they feared what humans might do next. And humanity, for the first time, knew they had the power to change the rules of the sky. The sky over the dragons' homeworld was quieter now. Dragons still flew, still patrolled their cities, but there was a new caution in their eyes. Karath led the patrols, golden eyes scanning the horizon, alert for any sign of humans. He remembered the attacks, the clever traps, the way humans had moved through his cities as if the streets themselves obeyed them. They were no longer just prey. They were equals in a way dragons had never imagined. On a nearby moon, the human fleet rested. Ships floated silently in the low gravity, engines humming softly. The humans moved through the base, repairing systems, checking shields, and preparing for whatever might come next. Commander Rao watched from the bridge, his eyes tired but sharp. "We have proven ourselves," he said quietly, "but proving is not enough. We must earn respect." Jalen walked among the engineers and pilots, helping wherever he could. He had grown since the first clash. He had faced dragons, survived attacks, and seen the power of his people's mind and courage. The spark that had begun so small now burned like a fire inside him. Lena joined him, carrying a new set of schematics. "The dragons won't attack us again, not the way they did," she said. "They respect us now in their own way. But respect is fragile. We must show it works both ways." Days passed. The dragons observed silently, their patrols careful, their movements less aggressive. Humans did not provoke them, but they did not hide either. They worked openly, showing dragons that they could thrive without destruction. Where once dragons had dominated cities and skies, now humans moved with confidence, creating new settlements and technologies. Karath watched from above a valley where a human settlement grew. Children played, humans repaired machines, and ships took off and landed. He saw the same child from long ago, Jalen, helping other children build a small glider. Karath's tail swished slowly, a feeling stirring inside him that he did not understand. Pride? Curiosity? He did not know, but the sight unsettled him. Humans were not simple creatures. They were capable of wonder, courage, and cleverness that rivaled even dragons. One morning, Karath landed near a human base. His wings spread wide, casting a long shadow across the sand. Humans froze, but no one ran. They stayed calm, watching the dragon as it stepped closer. Commander Rao stepped forward, hands raised in peace. "Karath," he said, voice steady, "we do not seek war. We do not seek to destroy your kind. We only want to live and grow as you do." Karath lowered his head, golden eyes meeting Rao's gaze. He felt something shift inside him. The humans were brave, yes, but more than that, they were intelligent and thoughtful. They had risked everything to survive and had learned from every challenge. Perhaps it was time for dragons to change as well. Slowly, Karath raised his wings and gave a low rumble. It was not a roar of attack, but a sound of acknowledgement. The humans relaxed, understanding that a silent agreement had been made. Dragons and humans could coexist, if both sides respected the other's power. Over the following weeks, small exchanges began. Humans shared knowledge of their machines, their energy shields, and the ways they studied the stars. Dragons showed their flying techniques and the power of their energy manipulation. Both sides learned, slowly realizing that collaboration was stronger than fear. Jalen and Lena worked on a new hover ship, designed with advice from dragons who had observed them carefully. The ship could move faster than any dragon thought possible, yet was safe and stable. Karath watched as it lifted into the sky, glowing with energy pulses. He felt something unfamiliar, admiration. Humans had done what dragons had not expected. They had taken the sky and made it their own in a way that did not destroy it. Commander Rao addressed both humans and dragons in a valley where the two sides met for the first time openly. "We have learned from each other," he said. "We are not enemies. We are different, yes, but together we can protect our worlds and our skies. Respect, courage, and intelligence matter more than strength alone." Karath gave a low rumble again, nodding slightly. The dragons roared softly, not in anger but in agreement. They had been humbled, yes, but also enlightened. Humans had proven themselves worthy of recognition, not through fire or claws but through mind, heart, and courage. The sky looked different now. Dragons still flew, but they no longer swooped to crush humans. Humans still built, explored, and tested their machines, but they did not hide. Above the desert and mountains, both sides moved with understanding. Fear had been replaced by respect. Strength had been balanced by intelligence. Jalen stood with Lena on a hilltop, looking at dragons and humans working side by side. "We did it," he said softly. Lena smiled, placing a hand on his shoulder. "We didn't just survive. We changed the skies." Korath soared overhead, golden eyes scanning the horizon, and for the first time, he felt that humans were not just small creatures on a desert planet. They were a force in the galaxy, clever, brave, and unbroken. Dragons ruled the skies no longer with fear alone. They ruled alongside humans with respect. The hidden spark of humanity had grown into a flame that could not be ignored. The dragons had learned the truth. Power is not just strength but courage, intelligence, and heart. And humanity had shown the galaxy exactly why it should never be underestimated.